Hello, fellow orchid lovers. It's Danielle with my Dendrobium update. I've decided to do these updates in smaller segments, my Phalaenopsis update being over 40 minutes. So I don't want to put you through that again. So I'm going to try to do like little spotlights on each type of orchid, but if it's a group of orchids that's really large, I'm going to try to break it up. So these are my Dendrobiums. I only have 3. And I'm pretty excited about all 3 actually. I was very careful when I picked Dendrobiums to pick ones that I think I can possibly, work with. Some Dendrobiums are what are called deciduous Dendrobiums, so they need to have their water and feed schedule slowed down or even stopped in some circumstances. And I don't really know much about that, so I tried to be careful about what I picked to be my first couple of Dendrobiums. So this one was the first Dendrobium that I got. This is, as soon as I get the tag, Green Lantern Red Carpet. This one, I got it with this leafless cane, and then this new growth. And this new growth was approximately, I would say, about here when I got it. And then it continued to grow on to here. And it's one of the types of Dendrobiums that has like the little black hairs on it. It's pretty cute. I really, I do enjoy the way that it grows. But I was starting to worry because although it got new roots and the new growth progressed, nothing was happening. I kept checking. I couldn't really see any eyes. I didn't know if there were any available eyes to move and then progress into canes. And just when I got worried enough that I was trying to think of what I could do differently, that happened. Yay! So she decided to give me a new growth. So it's growing sideways, which is typical of my orchids because I grow on windowsills, so they're trying to search out the light. And I don't really know how to fix that. So she's growing sideways, so I had to put her in a bigger cup. But I'm hoping that, when she gets a little bit bigger, I can kind of stake her a little bit and maybe get her to grow up. And if not, I'll just have to keep putting her into a bigger cup until she is of a size that I can try to manipulate the growth a little bit there. But she's doing well. She's got a new growth. She has quite a few new roots. The older roots branched. So she's doing okay. Some of the much older roots, you can see just the strands there. I did take the velamen off as soon as it started rotting because rotting velamen in with fresh new velamen, it can have the bacteria in the rotting velamen can have an effect on the new tissue. So you don't want to leave that bacteria in there if you can avoid it. This one is a deciduous Dendrobium. This is the only deciduous Dendrobium I have, which makes sense because I only have 3 Dendrobiums. This is Dendrobium Unicom, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but that's what it looks like to me. So that's what I'm going with. This one has never flowered for me, although it has flowered in the past. I got this orchid. I'm going to have to take it out. So just bear with me while I gently remove it from its stake. I got this orchid with these little pseudobulbs here. This pseudobulb that only had 1 leaf. This pseudobulb that had 2 leaves and the remnants of what were clearly at one time flower spikes. And then this was a new growth. The new growth continued in my care. I thought perhaps I might get flowers because the nodes where the flowers would come out were looking plump, but nothing ever came of it. So I don't know if it's some deciduous Dendrobiums. I know they flower on old canes, so the fact that this was a new growth may have been the reason why it didn't flower. But as you can see, it does have like little nodes. That's where typically a flower would come from. And they're still green, so maybe this season is the season that we'll get this one to bloom. Irregardless, it seems healthy. It has put up 2 new growths in addition to that new growth. You have this new growth right here. So this new cane, the tops of the canes are a little bit wrinkly. And I don't know if it's just that these growths took off so quickly that it couldn't keep itself hydrated, or if this is normal and they'll flatten out. I really don't know. Like I said, this is the first, I haven't even, coming up on a year. I think I got her last November and it's now September. So I'm coming up on a year of having this orchid. So I don't really, I'm thinking that this is a sign that she was not getting enough hydration. Because I have other orchids that is a sign, so I'm assuming that it's the same thing with dendrobiums. So some of her top leaves are a little bit wonky, but the cane itself seems pretty, plump and happy. So I don't think she suffered too badly. And then the other cane is huge. I mean, huge. It just keeps going on and on and on, and it's still growing. So, and that's, I mean, markedly bigger than the one that it came with. So I think she's happy. I mean, granted, the leaves again on this one are a little bit wrinkly, so maybe she's not getting as hydrated as she should. But she is still growing, and she's like a monster. She's huge. And again, I think it might be that she's growing too fast to even hydrate herself. She didn't have an extensive root system when I got her, but you can see all the green new roots that she's getting. So, hopefully these green roots will help her to, hydrate the new growth so that they'll continue to grow and maybe even flower for me. I don't know. We'll have to see. I do, again, see nodes on her, but it doesn't mean that she's gonna flower. I know she can, because that's old flower spikes, so she is blooming size. So we'll have to see. I mean, also too, a lot of times nurseries will take divisions off of larger plants, and just because it was a larger plant doesn't mean that it's gonna bloom. Once you separate it from, the larger plant, you kind of set it back a little bit. So yeah, just because she has bloomed before doesn't mean she's definitely gonna bloom, especially if she's a division. So, but I mean, hey, a huge cane like this in the first year I have her, which is so much bigger than her old cane, I'll take it. I think that's pretty good for knowing nothing about dendrobiums. Just these leaves would straighten out. Okay, and then finally, my favorite dendrobium is my Latoria. So I got this Latoria, and on this, these two canes right here, she had, 3 or 4 spikes. And they're the green spikes with purple spots and a purple striped lip, and I just love her. She's Dendrobium Atroviolaceum. And I think she is just a stunning girl. She grew, let me see. Let me do this. Okay. She grew this cane in my care since I got her. She doesn't have any spikes yet, but the apex doesn't look unhealthy. It just, I mean, there is a slight, let me see if I can get you in there. I think I'm too close. I'm not really sure why I have such trouble filming these little types. There we go. So she does have a slight bulge in there, so it's possible she might be getting flowers at some point. I don't know how soon after the growth develops that they develop the spikes. I'm not really sure. But she has 2 additional new growths. She's got one there. I had to upgrade her cup because she was definitely outgrowing her vase. And she's got another one right there. So she's 2 new growths, a plethora of new roots. Her old roots are not that great, but they're still alive, and a lot of new green growths, a lot of new green roots going down into the water. So she's doing really good. 1 new growth since I got her, and then 2 additional new growths coming, which I'm told the Latoria type dendrobiums, they just never stop growing. They're always in continual growth. As soon as a cane matures, more canes come. So I got 1 cane and now 2 canes. So I like that ratio. And if this one will bloom even more, do I like that ratio. So those are my dendrobiums. Again, I'm relatively new to dendrobiums, but they do seem happy. I have new growths on all Some are larger than the growths that it came with, so I think that's progress in the right direction. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will talk to you next time.